Hey, this is All Things Cheryl here to do your All Thing Greenleaf. I'm coming back and let's get with this review and recap of episode 1 on the premiere night. The title was the title is Strange Occurrence. And so what we have, what's going on? Now we know that last season, uh, Lady May basically kicked the bishop out of the house and told the bishop, look, get out of my house, you gotta go. And so the bishop, basically told Lady May, so be it, so be it. So he left. Then he went to the Bitmore, or he went to this hotel, I can't pronounce it correctly, but he went to this hotel in Baltimore, and guess who basically was there waiting on him? The infamous Rochell. Basically, Rochell, was waiting for him. And this is when we get into season 3 of Greenleaf. We see that the bishop basically wakes up and he has stayed overnight in the hotel. And so Rochelle meets the bishop with, some coffee. And so the bishop tells Rochelle it's like I really, really needed this sleep. So apparently he slept. They didn't basically do anything, but basically Rochelle really wanted them to do something because this is a plot to incriminate, to bring the bishop and the Greenleaf down by the relationship that she is currently trying to pursue. And so the bishop tells Rochelle, says like, look, because Rochelle was saying, well, you having so much challenges, you're having so much trouble, and basically your wife basically has kicked you out, and what's the deal? And so the bishop looks at her, looks at Rochelle, and he's like very, very, look at her all in the eyes and everything, and they're getting really comfortable and everything, and he basically tells Rochelle, he says, look, I'm still married. I am still married to my wife. No matter what her discord is, I am still married to her. And so we go on, and when we go on, all right, the bishop is basically telling Rochelle that he's still married. So right now, he can't do nothing. Okay, he can't do nothing. He just can't do anything. But Rochelle really wants to do something with the bishop. So we see that Jacob and Zara. Jacob basically has found his daughter at a Rochell motel. And remember, last season, he punched the light out. He punched the daylights out of her boyfriend that basically is going around and abusing her. And so, of course, Zara is basically upset due to the fact that the father was able to find her 20 miles outside of the borderline, I think, of Louisiana in a Rochell motel, as he said. So he goes on and he tells Zara, he says, look, I want everything you want. I want your cell phone. I want your credit card. I want your cell phone. I want your credit card. I want everything that you've got. Give it to me. You're on lockdown, and you're not going to be able to get out of our sight. So in the meantime, the mom is like, Jacob, you got to at least loosen up a little bit. You can't really, be too strict on her. You just got to loosen up a little bit. And so this is where Zara is like smart mouth. She's like really, really a smart mouth young lady. She's really a smart mouth young lady. And I was like, you lucky. Now, she got smart mouth with him. And so Jacob says, look, you lucky. He says, you know what? She started talking back and forth. And apparently what was happening is that I think Grace had called, Gigi as they call her, had called. And he said, well, yeah, basically, she's okay. She's all right. She's here and everything. And this is when the the mother, Zara's mother, was saying, well, would you let everybody know that, she's okay? And so this is when mom asked Zara, do you want something to eat? And Zara said, oh, you basically going out for me something to eat in this prison? And Jacob said, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. And so while Zara's mother was basically on the phone, she was like looking at Zara was like looking at her mother, talking to people and letting them know. This is when she slammed the door. And then Jacob came back. He came back and said, "Look, don't be slamming my door. Don't be slamming my door." And he said, "Just with that slam, you're grounded for life." And then he told her, "You're lucky I don't take the hinge off the door." Yo, I remember I saw this show on Ricky Smiley, and Ricky Smiley was basically having some challenges with, I think, one of his sons. And he got really smart. I think the son had basically went out when Ricky Smiley was on tour. And the son did something. So Ricky Smiley basically came and took the hinges off the door. So I'm like this, yo, Joseph, if you got to take the hinges off the door, do it. Do it. So she realized that you mean business. So Marissa, what is that mother's name? And so we go on and we see that Charity is coming in the house, and we see um, having a conversation with her mother because she's basically feeling really, really upset due to the fact that, she let her uncle know, Jacob, what was going on with Zara's boyfriend, and she feels responsible for what is going on with Zara right now. And so Gigi, Grace, tells her daughter, like, basically, you did what was right. This young fellow was basically abusing your cousin, and you did basically being right. And so, while in the meantime, we see that after the conversation, we see that Grace has basically went to the church, and Titi saw the father and asked the father basically, how is the relationship going? I think she said something how's that going? And so, the bishop is basically telling her, look, you need to basically stay out of the business of you and of my wife and me. That has nothing to do with you. And so, in the meantime, we see that Jacob is over at Triumph, basically firing people. What was going on is that Jacob was basically had a service, and the service was okay, but the receptionist was telling Jacob that it wasn't as usual. It wasn't as dynamic. It wasn't as powerful. It wasn't really as powerful as she had seen him that could be in terms of bringing in funds, bringing in ties and stuff like that. But prior before that, we see a scene. We see that Tasha had basically talked to Jacob, and Jacob was telling Tasha what was going on with the bookkeeper, and so Tasha tells her that maybe you should just go ahead and fire her, because I don't think she would, if Skank was here, the bishop, if he was here, he wouldn't really tolerate it. So maybe you should go on and fire her. And so basically, we see that Jacob and Carissa was basically, having a conversation about, what was going on, and that he feels that he want to fire her. One reason why is because she's being, defiant and really being really hard to listen to. And so he fired her. Once he fired her. And so Carissa says, well, I thought we basically want to talk about this. And so apparently they didn't really talk. Jacob didn't really, console Carissa. He just went on and fired her. Told her, look, you got to roll. told the bookkeeper, you got to go. Time for you to get out. And so basically, um, we see that um, there had been and was a meeting at Triumph, and at the same time, Carissa is the dean of the school that she's running, and so Carissa was having a conversation with one of the parents. So apparently, what had happened was that the student, their son, one of the parents' son, received a B and a writing assignment, and they were saying, well, we don't think that our son should receive this B. He's not a B student. He's actually an A student. I was like to myself, oh, what the hell? An A or B? I mean, it's still a good grade. What the hell? And so Carissa was basically trying to tell him, look, I'm sure I don't want to go over what basically what his teacher decided to give him a B for his assignment. And so she basically, to satisfy the parent, so she basically went on and read it. In the meantime, Jacob and Tasha is basically having a new membership meeting. And Carissa was supposed to be a part of this meeting, but she got held up. And so she come running, but the meeting was over with. And so this is when one of the new members had asked Carissa, was she a new member? And Carissa told her, no, I'm I'm the first lady of Triumph. And so the lady basically said, like, oh, I thought she thought that Lady Skanks, Tasha, was the first lady. And so we saw how the camera was like, focusing on them. And of course, Krista was feeling some kind of way. So in the meantime, we basically is over at the other church. We're over at the other church, and we see that we see Rochelle. So Rochelle is basically decided that she wants to go in and basically, chill and talk to the bishop. I guess, what was going on, what happened at the hotel and everything, or what didn't happen at the hotel. Right? And so she gets to the reception, and the receptionist is saying, may I help you? And the receptionist is telling Rochelle, Rochelle's telling the receptionist, look, I want to speak to the bishop. Is the bishop in? And the receptionist says, apparently the bishop is not in. And so, but she went on and checked to see, let the bishop know that Rochelle was basically, out there. And so Rochelle made some kind of smart remark saying, oh, how the sea parted or something. And so Rochelle comes in the office, and the bishop is all kiki hoppy and everything. And in the meantime, the receptionist is basically looking at them too, kind of like kiki and ha ha, right? And so the bishop asked the receptionist, he says, can you get up and close the door, because I want the door closed, because you're being really nosy right now. So please close that door, right? Because I don't want you to hear what's going on between me and my possibly new woman that I'm trying to say I'm still married, but it's really getting kind of hard. And so we go on, and we see that Rochelle is basically still trying to get the bishop in the sheets. She's still basically trying to get the bishop in the sheets, and the bishop is still telling her, still turning her down and saying, look, I am still married. And so in the meantime, we see that Charity is basically having a conversation with Gigi, and basically telling Gigi that Kevin basically wants to see his son. And so Gigi is telling Charity that basically that is his son, and he does have the right to see his son. But before that, we see that Kevin basically had went to the church at the service, and Charity is basically, the worship leader, and so she was singing and everything, and so she sees Kevin, at the church and everything, and so she basically had a short conversation asking Kevin as to why are you here, and basically Kevin saying, like, look, this is my church also. And so, but Charity is really, really not really having it or anything. And my theory is that Charity, this season seems that she still is, how can I say it? She's still upset due to the fact that her husband is a gay man, and basically she slept with a gay man, and she had no idea that he was a gay man, but she kind of had some feeling that something he was totally different, and so I think she's still, grieving from that. And so we go on and we see that, I don't want to miss anything. We go on and we see that Grace and Charity and Jacob has basically got together, and we're talking about basically their father, basically thinking that they think that their father basically is or is about to have an affair with Rochelle. They're not quite sure yet, but they, trying to have the conversation and everything. And so Charity tells Grace that she's basically, gotta fix it. And Grace is like, "What? I mean, what make you think that I gotta fix everything that's going on with our father and our mother?" And so Charity is looking, and then Jacob is saying, "Well, I'm not really gonna get involved with it because whatever is going on with my father and his wife, he needs to feel the wrath a little bit, especially when he was like, getting all into my business and everything as to what I was, how I was handling my affair. So he needs to kind of like get, a taste of, whatever's going on." And so we go on and we see that, let me tell y'all, the Greenleaf, they are really, really going for it. I mean, they're really going for it. I was like, what do y'all do when y'all was on vacation? And the writers, what y'all guys did? Y'all went in there and y'all said, let's tear some stuff up. Let's really see and let's really, go for it. And basically, I'm loving this. The first part is because they are really telling you what all of this ordeal that basically really goes on in a church, a small church, a mega church, all of this, gays in the church, bishops having affairs, um, first ladies having an affair, incest, and I mean, and the list can go on and on and on. And so we go on and we see that basically, because I don't want to jump into part two because I'm trying to remember a lot of things. And so we go on and we see that the bishop basically is really trying to resolve this $2 million that basically the church owes. And so they have a particular member that have, I guess, hit the lottery. And so he tells he tells his wife, Lady May, well, let's, try to hit, I don't know what the lady's name is, but one of our donors that we know that basically she has the money to basically help us to basically get out of this bind that we have with the IRS and the $2 million that we have to basically have in 90 days. And so we go on and we see that Darius and Grace is having conversation. And so Grace is asking Darius, I think I'm hoping I'm not getting into part two, but Darius is telling Grace that he can't really be a part of a church that's really having a lot of issues that's really going on. And we also see that we see Tasha and Rochelle is basically getting together and they are having a conversation. And Rochell is telling Tasha that she could get the bishop to have, a sexual affair with her. And while she's basically telling her sisters this, um, Rochelle is basically looking at online, basically looking at negligee, maybe Frederick of Hollywood, thinking that she might be looking at Frederick of Hollywood or something like that. Is because she's thinking that she's gonna, subdue, the pastor, no, the bishop, by the negligee that she's going to order, offline. And so this negligee is costing 200 and what? I think $223 and some odd cents. But I do know when the camera was panning, we saw the price of the lingerie. And so I'm hoping that I might have missed some stuff. I'm pretty sure I did. But guys, let's have a conversation. And it goes off with Rochelle and Tasha basically trying to, make sure that they put the Greenleaf in a fix. They really go after, to bring them down, to corrupt them. And this is how I feel. This is my little recap. Although I did some recap with my first one. Rochelle, is I think she's more ruthless than her sister is. I mean, than the sister, than her sister-in-law. I think. Tasha, I think Tasha has. I think Tasha is beginning to really have maybe some soft spot for Jacob. I think she really really likes Jacob. And the Grace. She needs to really stop trying to come in and save the day, because really she can't really save the day. The only person that she can really save it would be herself. And Charity needs to just kind of sort of get over due to the fact that her ex-husband is a gay man now, and the reason why she don't really want her son to be with his father, irregardless to the fact that the father is gay. But look, this goes on all the time, especially in churches. You know, the couples find out that somebody is gay, either the man is gay, or even the woman is lesbian. Something's going on, so they're going to wind up in court. We pretty much know that they are going to wind up in court. Um, Basically, Zara Zara really haven't really felt the real wrath of her boyfriend yet. I think something's really going to have to really snap her for her to get to see that Isaiah is an abusive man. And Isaiah was an abusive teenager, and he is beginning to be an abusive young man. And Zara is basically getting into that dark side of it, and she really doesn't understand it. She just in love with it, just in love with the whole just the whole fact. They abusing people will knock you around, apologize, and then next thing you know, they hit and then punching again. And Sophia has really, it's really feeling what sorry due to the fact that she told her uncle, and the uncle was punched Isaiah's lights out. Tell me what you think about it. I know I might have missed some things, but like I said, this is All Thing Greenleaf, and this is the premiere show part one, and that one was Strange Occurrence, and I'm going to be working on part two. And so in the meantime, this is All Things Cheryl. Liking, subscribe, comment, hit that notification, and I will be back in another 2-3 hours from now, give you part 2 of Premiere Night, which was last night, so we could be on track. And peace and love. And remember, love is for everyone. I'm out.